Hi there, my name is Greg, and in this tutorial we're going to talk about some of the important aspects of how Radian works. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what's called backlash. Now, you may have noticed when you first got your Radian that there's a little bit of motion on the base relative to the top of the Radian. It wiggles a little bit, there's a little bit of play. We just want you to know that this is not a problem. We've actually designed Radian so that it has an internal mechanism that makes sure that you still get smooth, precise motion. This is why when you first turn on Radian, it does that little dance, it does that little preload motion. That's that internal mechanism becoming engaged. All that being said, if you are shooting in extremely windy conditions, backlash can still be a slight issue, so just see below for a little more details. The next thing we're going to talk about is how Radian moves. So Radian is what's called a move, shoot, move device, meaning that Radian moves and then it stops, lets your camera take a photo, and then it moves again. This is actually an important difference between Radian and an egg timer because what it allows for is so that your camera is taking a photo in a perfectly static position. Now it's important to note that Radian moves and it stops moving and then it waits for 2 seconds so that all vibration is gone, and then it takes the photo. So as a result, you just want to make sure that your camera's shutter speed is at least 2 seconds shorter than your actual interval. Now understandably, this gets a little more complicated when you're shooting at time-lapse intervals of less than 4 seconds. We've programmed Radian so that that's not an issue, but if you are curious about what those exact delays are, see below for a little more information. Next thing we're going to talk about is what happens when you upload your settings to Radian. So you probably know that you create your settings on your phone, and you may have noticed that the programming cable plugs into the headphone jack on your smartphone. Now the reason for that is because the way your phone communicates with Radian is by sending a data packet within an audio file. Now if you unplug your phone and press the upload button in the app, you may hear a sound. Normally that sound, when plugged in, is transferred to your Radian. Now because this data packet is coming as an audio file, it's important that the volume is maxed at maximum so that the data is sent correctly. We've programmed the app to automatically increase your volume to the max. However, it doesn't always work on some Android phones. So if you are having that issue, you're having some uploading problems, please see our debugging video and you should be able to find some solutions there. So the last thing we're going to talk about today is what's actually happening when Radian tells your camera to take a photo. So what Radian's actually doing is it's sending a pulse via this cable to the external trigger port of your camera. And you can think of this pulse as being almost the exact same thing as you pressing down the shutter button with your finger. Now you may have noticed in the past that if you press the shutter button down too quickly, your camera might not actually take a photo. This is more likely to be true if you're shooting in automatic settings such as landscape or portrait, or if you have autofocus turned on. The important part there is your camera's trying to figure out what it needs to do to take the photo, and so you need to hold the shutter button down longer. In the same way with Radian, sometimes that pulse might need to be longer so that your camera can take a photo. Now you want your camera to take every photo of your time-lapse so that you can ensure that your footage is smooth. So to make sure that that happens, we encourage you to shoot in manual most of the time, as that'll be the most stable way to do things. However, most importantly, just make sure that you're shooting in manual focus and not autofocus. If you're shooting in manual focus, shooting in manual, and you're still having issues not getting all of your photos, go into the app, go under the Advanced tab, and make sure that your hold time is up to 1 or even 2 seconds. If you're still having issues, let us know, we'll be happy to help you out. Alright, that's everything for this tutorial. Again, there's some additional information below if you're curious, and if you have any issues, please contact us on our support site and we'll be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching this video.